Camano Chapel has completely affected every area of my life.
Camano Chapel's become the focal point of most of our family activities.
There's room for the seniors, there's room for the little kids, there's room for the people raising a family.
We have such a strong sense of family that you walk in the door, such a warm greeting. You know, you really know that you're in the house of God. You really feel the presence of God there.
Camano Chapel is a very accepting place, and it's a great place to belong.
Hi, I'm Chris Kramer. I'm the senior pastor here at Camano Chapel. We want to welcome you to our church. Whether you are a first-time visitor, or maybe you've been attending for a little while, or perhaps a friend passed this video on to you for you to watch, we're glad to show you what our church is all about.
From its early beginnings as a small country church to today's modern worship experience, Camano Chapel has been a lifeline to the Camano Island Stanwood community for more than 50 years.
It is a miracle of God, what He has done in the lives of people over the years on Camano Island. I see it as a church that all people can come and worship the Lord and be a part of reaching lost and hurting people and making a difference in their lives.
Making a difference in people's lives. That's been an integral part of Camano Chapel from the very beginning. A beginning as unique as the church itself. The dream for Camano Chapel began, of all places, on the pages of a newspaper column. In 1949, Camano Island resident and Seattle PI columnist Clarence Dirks began writing about the island and its need for a church. He touched a nerve, and people responded.
He just got people just really inspired about helping and being a part of this, and everybody was reading that column, and everybody was interested in what was going on day by day.
Readers who didn't even live on the island began sending in money. As the dollars trickled in, some of the residents got together and decided to buy a piece of property. Volunteers came from miles around to help build the church.
To start with, it was just raw dirt and people hammering nails and putting things together as they got material to build it.
In 1951, the building was completed. Billy Graham, in Seattle for a crusade, agreed to come up and dedicate the church.
I would say it was the biggest thing that happened on the island, and maybe ever up till that time.
More than 3,000 people heard him give a simple gospel message, and over 90 accepted Christ.
Took an offering, it was $900 and some that came in. They gave it to Billy Graham, and he gave it back and said, no, I want to give this back to the church. And they owed $900 and some, and it was enough money to pay off the building. And so even Billy Graham gave back to the church so that they could have a little community church out here on Camano Island.
Following Billy Graham's visit, Pastor Tom Howard came to deliver the first sermon.
The church was packed. There were people standing inside and there were people on the outside. It was a great day of celebration.
But despite such an impressive start, the church struggled for many years. In 1968, the chapel was about ready to close its doors, but a last-minute call for help to the Village Missions Organization brought a young pastor, Bill Wayland, and his family.
When we arrived at the first service, which I think was a Sunday school that we attended, there were 17 people, and 5 of them were us.
During the next several years, the church experienced slow but steady growth. An early focus was on reaching children. The only problem was they didn't have any.
I remember hearing Ed Jackson. He was one of the older men, And he would stand up and pray. I would say, Ed, would you pray for the offering? And he would pray, God, please bring us children to our Sunday school.
God answered those prayers. The children started coming.
The whole church began to really be excited, and most of them had no children at all, but they wanted to reach this community for Christ.
Reaching the community for Christ. That has been the heartbeat of Camano Chapel for the past 50 years and continues today. Everyone, no matter their background, is welcome at Camano Chapel.
We're just blessed with so many wonderful people here. And I'm a single parent as well, and I have 3 young boys, and they just welcomed me right in and just like took care of us.
We have a variety of people coming from all kinds of backgrounds, ages. About a third of the church is over 50. A third is in their 30s and 40s, and then of course 20s and below is a third. And so it's a broad spectrum of people, not only age, but economic backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds here coming together to worship God and to grow in their faith.
One family discovered firsthand the powerful impact the church could have on their lives.
What I really liked about Camano Chapel was the people we met were so friendly.
As the Keiths became more involved in the church, their faith grew. But in 1974, that faith was challenged when their daughter Rachel was born severely handicapped.
The medical community had said she was hopelessly brain damaged and you might as well put her in a home now.
We just said, we're believers, and that, she may seem like worthless to you, but she's precious to us, precious to God. We're not going to do that.
Pastor Bill Whalen challenged them that they had a choice. They could view their difficult circumstance as a curse or as a blessing.
He said, if you choose to make it a blessing, we'll all be behind you. The chapel and us personally, we will do everything we can to make it a blessing in your life.
The Keiths decided to try a new intensive physical therapy on Rachel called patterning. But to do this, they would need over 100 volunteers.
We thought, oh man, where are we going to get all these people? So we prayed it up and put it in the newspapers, had a lot of interviews, and we thought, maybe we'll get 10 people, and that would be great.
To their surprise, more than 120 people showed up to help with the exercises, over half of them from Camano Chapel. For more than 3 years, teams came every hour to the Keith home for up to 10 hours a day in what became known as Operation Rachel. Other church volunteers helped build an addition to their house. The Keiths felt a depth of love and care from the church unlike anything they had ever experienced before.
To me, the Word became flesh at that point. Before that, it was Bible stories. And now, all of a sudden, I started seeing Jesus in the things people were doing when we were in need, and it transformed my life.
The therapy helped Rachel progress, so eventually she could sit up, reach, and even crawl. Today, almost 25 years later, the Keiths believe the benefits to Rachel, and more importantly, the lessons in faith their family learned, are priceless.
The Lord really provided something that we really needed, and instead of it being a hassle, I look back on it and it was the best time of my whole life. I loved that period of my life, and I'll always be grateful.
I saw the true love of God shining through the people in the church, and even at a young age, I didn't really realize what was truly going on. But as I look back now, as a grown-up and as a parent, and I see how desperate of a state they were in, just like a lot of families are in desperate states, and I saw how the church completely came to the aid of them, and they helped them do things when it wasn't always easy for them to help. With resources they didn't always have, the church still gave.
And so the love that was demonstrated there really set, I believe, the foundation here for the growth of this church being known as a loving church.
Today, Josie and her husband George are carrying on that legacy and are seeing their own children flourish at the chapel.
It's been a great place for us to grow up because it offers so many things for both our little kids through Josie and I. There's Sunday school programs and mission trips that we can get involved in.
Charlie's father makes it 4 generations in the Keith family, now attending Camano Chapel.
That is absolutely amazing and very rare. And so I treasure and don't take for granted those kind of benefits that our family's enjoyed, largely because of a church family that has cared for us.
A church family that cares speaks volumes to children and young people who respond to the warm, friendly atmosphere and the fun activities they can get involved in.
Camano Chapel has just a great youth group for high schoolers.
The bottom line of what we're trying to accomplish in student ministries here at Camano Chapel can be summed up in the phrase, more students, more like Christ. And it has nothing really to do with numbers. It's just a matter of wanting to communicate the gospel clearly and effectively to young people in our community, and then move them to maturity and Christ-likeness.
There's just so much fun that we have, and we do all kinds of outreaches and stuff.
It's a place that offers opportunities for me to get involved with the church and be able to take my relationship with God and share it with other people.
A church family that cares is something Tracy Smith and Penny Brown personally discovered through the group Mothers of Preschoolers, better known as MOPS. Moms gather every week for inspiration and practical help.
My involvement with MOPS has completely changed my life. It's changed my marriage. It's changed my outlook on being a parent. I did not have a lot of parenting skills coming into this program, and now I have 4 children. I can't even begin to describe how it's changed my life.
Knowing that I'm not alone out there, that there's hundreds of moms that are going through the exact same thing that I am daily, it's a relief. When we first moved up here, I didn't like it. All I wanted to do was to go home. Now this is my home. These people here are my family.
Family. That's what Camano Chapel is all about. For more than 50 years, God has been bringing together countless people of all ages and backgrounds to become part of this big family. We're thankful for what God is doing, and we look forward to what He's going to do in the next 50 years. I invite you to become part of a church family that cares, and watch how God will transform your life.
It began with a small group of people who had a dream, and they pursued the dream, and God honored their pursuit, and He rewarded them with a chapel and with all of these people who've had a hand in it.
Well, my dad would be very, very proud of what's going on here, and to see all these people that have come and the community that's come together in this church.
I think it was just to do whatever we could to minister to the hunger within people's souls and let it come out naturally.
I think we're here to love, and I think that's what Camano Chapel does.
Camano Chapel is our home, and it's a person needs a church home. Everyone does.
Camano Chapel to me means everything. I feel I belong here, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
And I'm convinced that if you make Camano Chapel your church home, that God is going to bless you in a special way.